Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday to you. Happy Thursday to you. Let me just get through a little, make sure everything is good here, and we'll get the show on the road. You already know how we do. Mic check. All right, Facebook, we're good. Share this thing out. And get this thing going. All right, let's do it. Let's do it right into it. Hold on. Let me All right, let's do it. Let's do it right into it. Hold on. Let me All right, here we go. We right into it. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day you may be consuming this, whether you're consuming this on the Move Swiftly podcast or you're consuming it live on either Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. We are Thursday wrap-up session, what I've done. So again, first of all, let me get through a couple of announcements. I'm getting ahead of myself. There's a lot we got to get to today. We've had quite the week. And I will get through some announcements as we do Thursday's wrap-up session. All right, Thursday's wrap-up session, where all week the theme has been focusing on systems and not numbers, and understanding what the numbers mean, how to really read the details and go in when it comes to the numbers and what the numbers actually say. And today we're going to kind of just rehash a little bit about that, and then talk to you guys about the future, about how you should be setting up your life in terms of systems, and focusing on the systems that produce the best numbers. When you put your focus on a system, then you can properly read numbers. But if you keep living your life on a surface level way, where you're only looking at how much a person has in their bank account versus what the system is for them to save money, how they're putting money away, and how they're, dispersing and utilizing the numbers in a way of benefiting them, then you can't really understand what the numbers actually say. So we're going to get all of that stuff cleared up today. Also, something new that just literally just hit my feed a couple minutes ago. It actually provides a great example in terms of why it's important not to focus so much on numbers, but more so focus on systems, and look at how the system works in order for you to put the right people in your life. I'll talk to you guys about that as I get through the announcements today, and we'll kind of go from there. So first and foremost, let me just introduce myself to anybody that may be new to my world, maybe a newcomer, a new person coming into this world. My name, it is Aswan Crookshank. I am your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, and current 5-time, soon-to-be 6-time published author and educator. What I do, what the whole Move Swiftly business is all about, is taking the innovative teamwork lessons that you learn on a football field and aligning them with businesses and business owners, so they have a group of employees, they have a staff that moves as efficiently as a championship youth or high school football team. That's what we do around here. We make it so we create a system. Again, I'm not speaking to you because I don't know what I'm talking about. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Created a system for you as a business owner to utilize, so you have a group of employees that, same way that championship team, that high school or youth championship football team works hard and they grind and they show up together. They get into arguments, but they shake it out at the end. They do whatever they have to do to get better every single day. The system that I've created makes it so your staff moves like that. They have that hunger, they have that passion, they have that eagerness to it. They have that blind dog, all right, where they're just hungry to get better, and they're so focused on getting themselves to the next level. This is one of the reasons I specifically tell you the results you're going to get from working with me is that your staff is going to move like a high school or a youth championship team. See, when you get to college and when you get to the pros, they lose that hunger in their eyes. They lose that dog in their eyes. They lose how, passionate and driven they actually are. And that becomes a major issue. All right. So let me get through some announcements today, and then we're going to get right into, we're going to give you a little recap of what we discussed on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then we're going to, I'll close you guys out just with an understanding of how to really move forward in a world that likes to distract you from figuring out what system works best for you. All right. A world that truly does work 10 times. I mean, they work so hard. It's set up and it's structured in a way that they distract anybody. They're always distracting people in terms of what system works best for them. They're always telling you what you're supposed to be as opposed to letting you be yourself. All right. It's a very, very challenging thing that if you're not careful about, if you're not really focused and locked in on what it is you want to do for your long-term plans and how you actually want to live your life, then the world will absolutely bitch slap you and you will not make it if you don't know how to utilize and work your systems and make it so the numbers are working for you. All right. So before we get too into the topic, let me just get through a few announcements here. First and foremost, boxing theme boot camp in Boca Raton. Oh man, you like the way that sounds. I'm back, baby. I'm back. Your one and only Moose Swiftly. Understand that I started my speaking and my ability to communicate and lead and all those kinds of things. All of that started from obviously as a player. I was a captain on my football teams as a player. But when it comes to me actually publicly speaking and motivating people and getting people better over a period of time, and again, I'll be diving into this next week as we talk about how to utilize your leverage and what leverage really means and all that kind of stuff. But all of that started for me when I was a boxing trainer at 9 Round Kickboxing and Fitness. So I'm back. I live at the current moment. I'm residing out here in West Palm Beach, but I am planning a slight little relocation to Boca Raton because of the school, there's multiple reasons, primarily the significant other that I met and, us trying to make sure we're doing what we got to do or doing what's best for the young ones and setting up our lives in a certain way. See, that's the thing. When you meet someone, it's the challenging part is more so about how do you take because you're so used to doing things on your own and used to kind of moving at your own accord or whatever the opportunity is best for you. But you now have to navigate your life in a way that's beneficial for two people. And that's always the challenging part. And that's always where you start to see what a person's all about. Are they selfish or are they selfless? You start to really see what a person's personality is about, what they really ask God for, what they really want in their life, how it is they want to live their future. Are they, willing to make sacrifices, all those kinds of things. So I'm back, boxing themed boot camp. And there's a reason, again, I'm doing it in Boca Raton because I want to be closer to that area. I used to, before I got to Palm Beach, where I actually was a boxing trainer, was actually in Plantation. So I know that area very, very well. And when I went to the spring football game a couple of weeks ago at FAU, I was like, okay, yeah, this right here in terms of raising a family, this right here is what it's all about. I like this. I like the vibe here. So I'm back. It's $25 per class, only 10 people. All right. It's only 10 people. It's only so long that I'm going to be running these advertisements because I'm going to find my 10 people and that's it. We're cutting it off unless one person drops out and we need 10 people, but we need 10 people that are willing to consistently show up 4 days a week, Sunday at 11 a.m., Monday, 7:30 p.m., Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. and Thursday, 4 days a week. Again, it's boot camp. It's kind of like a boot camp style, but it's going to be boxing themed where you'll learn your ones, your twos, your jabs, your crosses, all those kinds of things. These are the things you're going to be learning there. Let me show you a video as we go. But these are the things that you're going to be learning. You see how he's learning jab, cross, jab, jab, cross. These are the things you're going to be learning. And whether you are an athlete that's trying to get better at your particular sport, again, that's one of the reasons I actually wrote this book, Make Your Move, a unique look into boxing, dance, and entrepreneurship. Or you're a father like him, you might have a daughter and, you want to be able to stay in shape and be protecting her. Or you might be a lady like this who I'm not saying that happened to her, but there's several women that I used to train that were dealing with some domestic abuse situations, and they wanted to protect themselves and things like that. Or you are a young student that is tired of getting bullied and you want to be, you want to be able to defend yourself. All those things are what we're going to be encompassing, and all those things are going to be important as you think about how you can get into these classes and how you can learn this skill. This is a very, very important skill for you to learn. So sign up now. Sign up now. Do not wait. Do not wait. It's important that you sign up now. Just learning the basics. All right. So next thing, if you are a business owner, again, I do what I do to serve you guys. All right. And by the way, for those boxing classes, we do have corporate discounts available. All right. So if you're a business owner and you want your whole staff to be involved, or you want me to offer it as some sort of an affiliate, or either an affiliate or a corporate discount, open to that conversation as well. But more so, you need to, because this is actually 1,000% free. And if you have not done it yet, you need to go and do it right now. I need you to go to Free Guide Business Owners. Go to freeguide.makeyourmove.com. That is freeguide.makeyourmove.com. It's a 10-step process, 10 steps. I created 10 bullet points in which you could utilize right now as we speak that will make it so your staff is getting a little bit better. Things are happening more efficiently, and they know, hey, you are serious about helping them develop and get them to the next level. All right. Let's go to freeguide.makeyourmove.com, and main website if you would like to purchase an employee development workshop, or you just simply want to get to know me more, book me to come and speak to your staff for a keynote, get some bulk orders, just again, learn more about Aswan Crookshank, just shop at the store. All that is available at makeyourmove.com. That's MakeYamove.com. That is MakeYamove.com. All right, let's get into today's discussion. Now, before I do, I want to tell you guys a kind of a story that's going to be a perfect lead in to what we're going to be discussing today. All right, what you guys see, and for you, so podcast listeners, what I have on the screen. And first of all, actually, before I go into that, make sure you like, especially now. All right, like, comment, share, subscribe to this channel. All right, whoever needs to hear it, pass it along, spread it along, pass it along to whoever needs to hear this, because this is incredibly, incredibly important stuff I'm telling you right now. All right. Right before I started this recording, some of the things that I do personally, because I record so many videos and I have so much out there, so much content out there. In fact, once I'm done with this, I'm going to be actually getting into running some Google ads and getting myself out there more, because there's literally hours upon hours upon hours of material, quality material at that, out there on me. And I need to do a better job in getting the word out there and getting more people to know who I am. Right. So I personally take in a lot of information. Believe it or not, I take in a whole lot more than I put out there, and I put out a lot, right? And one of the people that I've personally, and I have the thumbnail right here. I talked about it a couple weeks ago when I was talking about news sources. I think it is somewhere here. Let me see if I can find it, just for context. Yes, right here. It was one of the top 5 Tuesdays where I talked about the top 5 reasons to find your own news sources. And there's a picture of Dre Baldwin, who I've actually paid to coach me. It's a picture of Anton Daniels, who you could see, a black guy who's wearing a MAGA hat, Make America Great, who I discovered through the election process. And, I tuned into some of his work, man. When I first started doing this, I'd be listening to his videos, and I loved his style. I loved his tone. I loved how incredibly honest he was on camera, and just a straight shooter. And another guy that I have on this, so I have a picture of 3 podcast listeners. It's a thumbnail with 3 images. One's Dre Baldwin, one is Anton Daniels, and the other one is a guy I'm getting ready to talk about right now. His name is Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum. All right. So before I started recording this, there was a video that popped up on my YouTube feed that had a young black boy, and its thumbnail, I'm looking at it right now. The thumbnail on this video is the tragic story BLM won't support. All right. Now, again, like him, I see a young I'm a football guy. Again, I built the business, I built everything I'm about based on what I learned on the football field. So when I see a thumbnail with a young black boy who's wearing a football pads, wearing a football uniform, and it says the tragic story BLM won't support. All right. I see something like this, and because he says it in the video, when he sees that picture, he sees that boy, it's hard to even get the story out. All right. It's hard to even get the story out because I saw it and I clicked on it to watch the video. And I knew listen, if you look at the thumbnail, you kind of know and you know his style, and you watch his videos, you know where he's going with it. But when you listen to him explain it, the way he explains it, it's absolutely heartbreaking. And he absolutely would hit the nail on the money. The video is 17 minutes long. And as I'm listening to it and the news reports, and he puts everything in his video. Again, I recommend you guys go strongly watch it. I strongly recommend you go watch it yourself. But as the picture of the young black boy is, so what happened was you had a 7-year-old boy who was shot and killed he was caught in the middle of some crossfire gang stuff going on in Jacksonville, Florida, a place that's only about 4 hours away from where I'm currently at. Young black boy who was killed by other black men. And the story, I mean, listen, BLM and all the race hustlers out there who get so up in arms about a white person killing a black person. This is a 7-year-old boy who was killed by gang violence by other black people, and we hear nothing for this little black boy. There was a lady, not a lady, but the families of, was that situation in Texas that I talked about a couple of weeks ago, where Carmelo Anthony, where he as a black man killed somebody else, and he's getting money raised for him, and he's still alive. He made over $500,000 raised for him, and he's still alive. Yet this young black boy can barely get $1,700 or $1,500 or whatever it was, whatever the number was. So I'm bringing all this up. and I'm trying not to stay on it for too long because I do get it. It does bother me to think about it. But when I watched the video and I had the same thought that Officer Tatum had, and looking at that picture and how much it absolutely tugged on my heartstrings, it kills me to think about that, especially being a person who played the game and learned as much as I learned about the game. His picture being on the internet, his picture being there absolutely crushed me. And I had to donate. Now, I'm not saying that I had to donate for you guys to give me credit for it or anything like that. That's not my motivation behind this. It isn't. All right. It's not. What I'm telling you is, when you, for the podcast listeners, I'm on his GoFundMe right now. The GoFundMe that's on the link is, I'll share the link somewhere here or something like that. But the link is on Brandon Tatum's website, and I'll put the link somewhere, probably in my stories or something like that. But when you look at the amount of people that actually donated, all right, now they're almost at their goal. I think the goal is 79,000. Right now, the goal is $80,000. All right. Again, you're talking about other situations where black kids were killed by a white person or something like that. Some situation where there was a white lady who said nigger a bunch of times, and she gets damn near $500,000 raised for her. This is how crazy this world is. But their goal is 80K, and they're almost at their goal, right? But when you look at the people who have been supporting, you see it all over. I didn't know how to do it, so next time I probably would. But you look at the majority of the donations. Officer Tatum sent me. Officer Tatum sent me. Officer Tatum sent me. Officer Tatum sent me. Show more. Officer Tatum sent me. Brother Officer Tatum, where Officer Tatum sent me. Sent Officer Tatum. My prayers, Officer Tatum. God bless the young man. Rest in peace. Seen on Tatum. Sent by Officer Tatum. Officer Tatum. My thoughts. Officer Tatum. I mean, the whole thing. 16. And again, I'm no different. It's just I didn't put it on there. But Officer Tatum did send me to this, and I'm bringing all of this up so you guys understand. It goes back to, again, what I discussed a couple weeks ago when I said you got to find your own news sources. You got to find the people that you connect with the best. And that's the world we live in. That's the world we live in. That's the opportunity that you have. All right. The opportunity is for you to develop your own worldview, develop a worldview that's conducive to you and your development, and then put things in place in which you can develop systems for that. This is all that I get. Pretty much everything I do on this show, pretty much everything I talk about is all impromptu. It's all authentic. And when I tell you this happened, I would planned on starting the recording a little earlier than I did, and because this came up, and I personally said, "Look, I gotta donate to this." it made me push it back a couple minutes, and I'm telling you all this because authenticity and the reality of what's going on out here in our communities and what these young people are going through and what it's all about, it's real, it's tough, it's a difficult thing. And as we transition, as I transition to the discussion on what we discussed all week and what it's been all about, keep all of this stuff in mind, guys. Keep it all in mind. Keep the element in mind that there's a system in place that it's either going to work for you or it's going to work against you. And you have an incredible opportunity to put things in place for yourself in which your systems start working harder than you. The system should be set up in a way where they're working harder than you. And the system should be set up in a way in which your young people and the people coming behind you are going to be benefiting from how you set up your system, how you set up your business. All right. So let's get right into it. Let me go back. Here's what I'll do. I'll go back to we'll go back to all of the Medium articles from Monday through Wednesday, and we'll kind of just recap everything we discussed over the past couple days, and then we will figure out the best ways to move forward. So first things first, let's go back to Monday, the Make and Move Monday kickoff question titled, "What do the numbers say?" What do the numbers say? All right. Let me start the sharing. Oh, whoops. I actually hit don't share. All right. So what do the numbers say? We discussed an important concept. All right. We discussed an important concept about it was the start of Teacher Appreciation Week. But let's see, where was a good part to pick up? Yes, Coach Hibbs. I headlined this article with a Mike Hibbs, who was my literature teacher in high school, and he was also the basketball coach. He was the literature teacher my senior year. And he was one of the first philosophers that I ever met, like really critical thinker type guys. And what got me on this discussion, what made me so I picked this theme, was the fact that I was dealing with a math problem with the students that I teach. There was a math problem, and I had to kind of put it in perspective to understand, hey, math is a challenge for some people. Some people, like myself, just don't like math, but there's a logical way of thinking. There's an understanding that, hey, if the math ain't mathing, then nothing I want to do in life is actually going to work. So I told us, so actually, I'll just read it here. So one day, I'm reading directly from Monday's article, podcast listeners. So one day, someone asked him, and I'm referring to Coach Hibbs, "Don't all you deep thinkers, you readers and philosophers, don't y'all hate math?" And his answer shocked me. No. He explained that math trains your mind to think logically. It gives you a way to measure effort, to track how someone improves, to see the patterns that lead to progress. Big one here. The patterns that lead to progress and ultimately smarter decisions. That changed everything for me. So when I asked, what do the numbers say? I'm not talking about money, social media followers, or stats, or on a spreadsheet. I'm talking about effort. How many times did you try before you gave up? How often do you push through instead of checking out? What are the results saying about your habits and your growth? Let's go back to the story I just told in terms of Brandon Tatum. If you listen to him and you listen to him talk about how he started his YouTube channel, he was struggling. It was a struggle for him. It wasn't always this many people. He didn't have all this influence on so many people for for him to put out a GoFundMe and have so many people say, yeah, Officer Tatum sent me. No, there was a heart that there was a big heart. There was a willingness to say the unpopular things, right? There was a willingness to go out and say things that a lot of Black people just don't want to hear, right? Just like what happened today. But when you start seeing these kinds of tragic stories, all right, in the community, and again, we don't use the term Black community around here. We just use the term community. All right. It may happen to be a community with a lot of Black people or a community with a lot of white people. None of the word community has nothing to do with a person's race or has nothing to do with the person's race at all. It doesn't. I mean, again, it's a term that gets shoved around because it keeps people separated, and, the media has taken it and done what they've done with it. But what we do over here, we don't use that term Black, white, Hispanic community. We don't associate a race with a community because the two have nothing to do with each other. And because so many people do that, ultimately, we see it leads to what the issue is that we saw will be had in Jacksonville. All right, and I'm saying all this to you because, listen, when Brandon Tatum first came out, or whether it's him, whether it's Charlie Kirk, whether it's Candace Owens, or anybody that was against this notion that we as Black people are victims, when they first came out, when they first started talking that noise, like with him or whether it's Anton Daniels, whether it's Dre Ball, the people that I particularly, Jason Whitlock, Megan, a lot of the people that I consume on a regular basis in order to get me prepped to do what it is I do every day, these people were not liked. I'm telling you right now, I'm just saying it to you right now. It's straight like that. They were not liked. They were not liked at all. They wanted to be canceled. You had BLM and you had everyone in BLM talking a bunch of shit about how much they were going to do for us and do for us. Where's Black Lives Matter when it comes to this? Where's the protests? Huh? Where's the tweets? Where's all of that shit when you see a young boy like that go down? So when I started hearing these people speak like that, oh, it touched my heart. It touched my heart, and it put me in a place where it's like, got to do something. You got to do something, right? You got to do something. Especially myself. I mean, I've been blessed beyond belief with the parents I've had and what the sacrifices they made and the things that I have been fortunate enough to have growing up. When you see this kind of stuff and you really start telling yourself the truth about these things, your whole world changes. All right. So none of it works if you don't see patterns, if you don't think logically, if you don't say to yourself, it's just like even with, the way, again, we'll be talking more about this later on next week when we talk about leverage, but the way I structure the boxing theme classes now, as opposed to the way I was doing it before, whereas a lot of kids can sign up and all this and have a bunch of people. No, limit it to the folks that would be able to make changes and do things that'll be beneficial. That's the key, folks. That is the key. That is really how you judge the numbers. So when we talked about Monday, as far as a kickoff question, we talked about what the numbers are actually saying in your life. All right. And are you creating a system, and are you focusing on the system that are going to benefit those numbers? All right. So once we got through Monday, then we went over to Top Five Tuesday, where we discussed the top smartest ways to judge the numbers. All right. And you need a process for this. The reason I came up with this is because you need an actual process towards judging the numbers. It's very, very easy to get very wrapped up in the immediacy of it, right? Listen, man, look, you have the money to go buy, I don't know, some ice cream. You see a damn ice cream truck, right? You see an ice cream truck coming down your house. You're tired of your kids bothering you and they're nagging you and they're nagging you and they're nagging you, in your mind, having too much ice cream isn't the best thing for a kid. Giving them more sugar, right, isn't the best thing for it, right? In your mind, that the ice cream is not necessarily the best thing for the kid to have. But you have the, I don't know, $5-10 that it's going to take for you to give the kid the ice cream so they can go run after the truck and get an ice cream. I'm telling you this because this is one of the things I actually did as a kid. Run down the ice cream truck and they pay they pay the money for the ice cream. Boom. You might have temporarily fixed the issue of you being annoyed. But all right, you've done long-term damage in terms of what a kid sees as valuable. You've done long-term damage in terms of what you've placed as a value in terms of how you spend your money, right? What kinds of things are you teaching? What kind of money mindset are you creating in the home? Listen, I've said it so many times. Let me see if I can pull it out. So since we are in the middle of Teacher Appreciation Week, we get a bunch of candy, right? And when kids see candy, all of a sudden their mind associates with something good. Oh, I did something good, get some candy. I did something good, get some candy. All of these things are temporary solutions because you as an adult have yet to adjust and figure out, how do you actually judge numbers? How do you judge numbers, and how do you make it so numbers are working for you and not working against you? Meaning you're not taking your hard-earned money and putting it in candy, putting it in things that are not healthy and conducive to the development of young people. Now, hey, every once in a while, okay, good. Granted, I'm not sitting here telling you not to reward your children and reward students and things like that, but you got to be thinking about this. The old saying, money doesn't grow on trees. And then how exactly are you utilizing the things that you do have, the things that God has blessed you with now that you need to be great stewards of? In fact, me and my girl, we had our I wouldn't say our first, but because it's still fairly new, we haven't had, well, I mean, we've had so many like deep level conversations that sometimes it feels like we've been seasoned or we've been together longer than we have. But we had sort of an argument the other day, and the argument came to a kind of a close, or it came to an agreement when she made the statement to me, is like, you got to be a steward for the things that you do have. And then that's where we agreed, and that's where we connected. And when you kind of going back and forth with someone and then it kind of digresses a little bit, it's like, okay, see, that's why I'm with you and that's why you with me and stuff like that. So we had one of those. So again, I don't know if you can qualify that as an argument per se, but it was definitely an understanding of your values and the things that you do have currently. Are you a good steward of it now, or are you one of those people that are just judging things on a surface level? So again, I say all that to say that's what we discussed Tuesday. All right, top 5 ways to judge the numbers. Number 1, character, right? Character. Where exactly are you putting in your money? Where exactly are you making an effort? If you get a $2 or $3, if you get a couple $100, couple $1,000, are you putting it aside and saying, hey, this is for my family, this is for groceries, this is for something that's going to be beneficial to my development? Are you looking to save up for a house or whatever? Again, or are you taking that dough, making that shit rain at the club, and you putting on chains, and you got new kicks and the new clothes, and you looking good, right? You looking good, but you're not saving shit. All right. Character shows that. Again, character. This is why the Bible says it's easier for a camel to make it through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich guy to make it into heaven. Because when it's in your bank account and it's accessible to you, your character starts to show in terms of how you're spending it. All right. So number 1 was character. Number 2, logic. As we discussed, logic. Does the math? Does it equal whatever that it is going to equal? And can you do it? Next thing was ability. All right. This is key. Me being a football guy, sports guy, you got to know if someone's going to be good enough or not. Period, point blank, end of story. That's the beautiful thing about sports. It's a beautiful thing that sports teaches. It teaches from a critical thinking standpoint to a standpoint of can the mofo play? Straight up, dog. Can the mofo play? Can his ass play? Oh man, I'll never forget one of my favorite barbershop conversations, man. And this, I might be getting a little off topic with this, but it's important for you to hear this because it's applicable in everything when we're talking about numbers. Now I had the same barber from second grade all the way. I grew up in Silver Spring, Maryland, and I had the same barber from second grade all the way until I until I left Maryland when I was 27. Yeah, 27 ish. 27. I was turning 27 or 28. Yeah, 27 to 28. Right. But anyway, late 20s. We'll say it like that. Late 20s. I'm 36 now. So it wasn't really too long ago. But I had the same barber from second grade all the way till then. Right. And again, he sees me through youth football, high school football. My mother would give him little pictures that he would put on his, his mirror and stuff like that. That was my guy, Bruce. Shout out to Bruce, man. I know he keeps up with me on Facebook and all that. So anyway, he was cutting somebody else, and he was telling them, hey, my boy Aswell, he plays a little football. He plays football. He's bragging on his clients and all that kind of stuff because they saw the picture. And stuff like that. So the guy who's in the shop, he asked me where I play. He goes, okay, all right, where you play? Okay, well, what position? Okay, they asked the first two questions, and then he goes, well, the better question is, you any damn good? So nowadays, every time I run into a young cat that plays football, and he tells me, I go through that exact sequence of questioning. It's like, okay, where you play? What position? I guess the real question now is, you any damn good? Are you any good? All right, you did. I mean, shit. Ain't nobody trying to talk to nobody who's weak, who's soft. All right, ability, numbers, what you do, man. What the hell you do? And I'm not talking 40 time and stuff like that. We're talking about what we saw last night with Knicks and Celtics, and I believe it was OKC and the Nuggets. Can your ass play? Right? Can you play? That is a big one, and a lot of people got to understand with numbers. With numbers, there's ability. There's a ways of addressing ability. There's a ways of saying, hey, here's the measurement of how fast, where you need to run. How fast can you get there 10 times in a row with 30 seconds rest? And then how fast can somebody else get there with the same measurements in the same time frame as this person? And we just gonna see. That's it. That's sports. You can use numbers to measure ability. All right. I went on that one for a while. And then obviously value. All that leads to value. This is why the article I put the image of Rich Dad Poor Dad, because we were talking assets and liabilities and understanding the difference. And the main thing was taking all four of those lessons, adding them up just like a math problem, and that's how you dictate your future. So that was Tuesday. Let me get to Wednesday, because I just realized that I got a little off topic there. Now, as far as Wednesday, and I'll close you guys. This was yesterday, Wintrepreneur Wednesday. We talked less numbers, bigger paycheck, and it leads into the discussion that we're going to be having now today, because we're talking basically today's topic, which is about focusing on the systems. All right. So in a nutshell, and I've been a seasoned speaker long enough to be able to merge these two concepts, because they are pretty much the same thing. All right. And why it's actually really, really challenging, like I said at the beginning, why it's actually really, really challenging to do what I'm suggesting and I'm advocating that you do right now, which is to focus on a bigger paycheck by focusing on less about the numbers, by thinking less about the numbers and focusing on a bigger paycheck. Less numbers, bigger paycheck. Less numbers, bigger paycheck. I put the example out there yesterday for you guys to see. It's clipped up, and it's already out there published now, where I put the example. All right. Let's say you're selling books and you need to sell, and you're selling your books for $10. All right. $10 a book, which is fairly reasonable. You can go up 15 unless you're, Michelle Obama, somebody super, super famous. You could probably charge about 25 or 30 per book. All right. And we could even go in that number if you want. Let's say 300 people buy the book. It's a huge event. It's 300 people that show up, and all 300 people buy the book. Not likely that's going to happen. Being an author myself, it's very unlikely that's going to happen. But let's just, do wishful thinking and say it does. You sell all those books, you make $3,000, providing that you charge $10 or providing you charge something around the range of 25 or 32. All right. Obviously, if it's 25 or 32, you make a little bit more. Me, I decide, again, my core offer is an employee development workshop that is going to be $60,000 for the year, because we're going to do 4 workshops quarterly. We're going to track progress, and we're going to make sure every single person, the people that pay, are actually utilizing what's in the book and making sure that they're getting better, and we're tracking the improvement. I charge $60K for the year. I don't even have to sell. I could sell one person that, versus how many other people that you sold, the 300 people that you sold your book to. And I would have been triple. I mean, not even on the same stratosphere in terms of how much more I would make for selling one person versus how much you made selling 300 people. All right. So the focus needs to be creating a system that gets you in front of the high ticket, high paying clients. Now, again, here's what here's what you have to walk away from today's episode understanding: that this high ticket client, this high ticket person, it requires you to really put a system together. The system has to be working harder than you. An individual trying to chop that tree down, all right, it is not going to happen overnight. But what will happen, like John Maxwell, I heard John Maxwell say this and it was one of the tons of self-development stuff I do, but he said, if you take an axe, and you give it 5 good whacks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put it down. Next day you come, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put it down. Next day you come, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put it down. Next day you come, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just keep whacking that thing every day. 5 solid whacks. Eventually, that tree will go down. As opposed to you, like the person who wants to sell 300 people a $10 book. All right, it's a big event and we did something great, and I gotta be chopping. I gotta be talking to these 300 people, and I gotta tell them this, and I gotta hope they all read it, and this, that, and then there's no real follow-up process for everyone who read it, and all this stuff. It turns it. Eventually, you will burn out. Versus the person that's just chopping that tree every day. Eventually, that tree falls down, and you would have the proven results, the system in place that you could just go to another tree, go to another tree, go to another tree, go to another tree, right? Because you know the system and you understand what the system's all about. And the numbers eventually are going to dictate how much work you're putting in your system, folks. I'll close you out with this story. It was back in my LA Fitness days, and LA Fitness is a corporate gym. They big on sales, and they hire sales reps. And I spent a little time being a seller for LA Fitness. And one of the things Dupree used to tell me, who was my hiring manager, and he became a VP, he goes, yeah, what I advise a lot of you sellers to do, or sales associates to do, is always just looking at the system, playing around with the system, figuring out how I can add more leads to it and how I can book more appointments, and just know this CRM system that the company spends, millions and millions of dollars for all of us to have, the tools that we have now to make it so our systems are a whole lot tighter. I personally have been absolutely loving ChatGPT and how it's been able to help me develop leads. I actually use something called Go High Level that has the CRM implemented for me, and I can reach out to certain people. And if listen, it is absolutely no excuse for you in 2025. And if you're serious about being in business, not to have put a system together that is really getting you in front of new people on a daily basis and allowing you to do the thing that you enjoy doing and do the things that you're supposed to be doing. All right. So like I said, today and every Thursday, we're more so I'm going to establish sort of a wrap-up session tomorrow. We're going to get back into Faith-Based Friday, and it was another sermon that Pastor Craig Rochelle brought it like he always does. He absolutely brought it. Main website, and then next week we're going to talk a little bit about not a little bit, we're going to get into details, real strong details about the ways in which you can use your leverage and leveraging, and what exactly leveraging means, and how important it is to actually use leverage and what leverage is all about. We're going to dive deeper into all of those concepts next week, so stay tuned for that. Sunday, Stay Hired Sunday. Shout out to Kimberly Blue, man. You know, the numbers, especially you LinkedIn followers, the people that are following us on LinkedIn, we appreciate you guys very much. We're coming back at it. Stay Hired Sunday every Sunday. So, and also don't forget film session. Matter of fact, let me pull that up because I don't advertise that as much as I need to. So we'll pull that up. Every Saturday we have a film session Saturday. Film session Saturday, every Saturday. This week, it's actually going to be a new game. We're breaking down the Georgia and Notre Dame game, a game that I was absolutely shocked. All right, absolutely shocked that Notre Dame beat Georgia in a college football playoff game. I was absolutely shocked about that. So we'll be breaking that down Saturday. It's on a different channel than this one. It's on Film Session Saturday. So we look out for that. So again, pretty much 7 days out of the week, I'm here talking, doing something. I told you, you know, this is what we do, especially if it's your first time tuning in. So there'll be no shortage of content when it comes to me. And I appreciate the listeners, the newer people. It's going to be an absolutely incredible summer. So all that being said, as one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.